Hey everybody, Fred Richani, TSC. Breaking news, non-stop breaking news in the world of pro wrestling today. If you haven't been checking social media or WWE.com, I regret to inform you that over 24 WWE employees and superstars have been released up to this point. I just recorded a full hour-long podcast, and as I was recording live, when I first started, there were 5 talents released. And I thought that was notable because WWE held a conference call today, according to PWIinsider.com, stating they were going to furlough employees and make some talent cuts. Now, when I heard that, I thought, okay, some employees will be furloughed, meaning they'll get to keep in theory, they'll get to keep their benefits, and then they'll eventually come back to work. Some talents will be permanently cut, and apparently execs are also taking smaller salaries too. And also they halted construction of their new headquarters. Okay, I figured that, but I did not realize that this day was going to be the worst Wednesday in wrestling history. Maybe the worst Wednesday in wrestling history. So, if you don't already know, Rusev just got released. Officially released. And you can add him to a rather large list right now that includes Drake Maverick, EC3, Luke Gallows, Karl Anderson, Leo Rush, Erick Young, Curt Hawkins, Heath Slater, Lance Storm, backstage producer, Shane Helms, backstage producer, Mike Rotunda, who literally just appeared on the bump today, backstage producer, Finley is a backstage producer, Pat Buck, backstage producer, Billy Kidman, former wrestler, backstage producer, Shawn Daivari, producer, Scott Armstrong, producer, Sarah Stock, Kurt Angle, who gave his body up for WWE all these years, okay, he gets released. That guy should have a job for life. Aiden English, released. Sarah Logan, released. Referee Mike frickin' Chioda, who's been with the company for 31 years, released. Erick Rowan, Primo and Epico Cologne, Mike and Maria Kanellis. No Way Jose, who risked his life to get flown out to Raw, to get squashed, to get destroyed as an essential worker. And in the podcast episode I just uploaded, I outline all the facts regarding how WWE got to be essential in Florida. Hint, it has something to do with the $18.5 million WWE donated to the Trump re-election campaign in Florida, which, by the way, I'm pretty sure all the talents being cut today do not equate to $18.5 million in salaries. So, and reportedly, I've seen from some people here online that apparently some guys and girls did get lump sums to leave WWE, so kind of like severance packages. That being said, they're still being put out on the street during the worst market we've ever had, worse than the freaking Great Recession and Great Depression. This is Tom Colahu on Twitter. One source has told me this happened very quickly for wrestlers, but the money on offer to be released by mutual agreement was a good amount. That's great, but that money is eventually going to run out if they can't get bookings, if they have bills to pay, if they have a family. It's the sheer fact that WWE does not have to do this. Alexander Jaksic, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing his name. He got released too out of NXT. This is terrible. This is terrible. Brandon Thurston tweeted, and I'm just gonna drop some knowledge nuggets on you guys from Brandon Thurston, who hosts WrestleNomics. He knows the WWE stock game in and out. Unless WWE is expecting or is already missing TV rights payments, cost cutting probably isn't a matter of keeping company profitability. It's probably a matter of maintaining pre-COVID-19 profit projections, which is absolutely pathetic, meaning WWE could have kept these guys. They're not cutting them because of COVID-19. They're cutting them because it's convenient and they want to maintain projections. And that's absolute freaking BS. It's utterly freaking ridiculous. So Rusev officially released, Kurt Angle officially released, a number of other people. I'm honestly just going through Twitter right now trying to see what the deal is right now. I mean, WWE pays less than 10% to their wrestlers, and they still cut them. It's utterly freaking ridiculous. I mean, this is just nonstop right now. I'm trying to see. I hate even refreshing my Twitter feed to see if anybody else has been released. Andrea Listenberg, she's a writer. I believe she confirmed on Twitter she was the one who worked on the Mandy Rose Otis storyline, which was fantastic. So shout out to her. Oh, my goodness gracious. This is terrible. Oh, Zack Ryder's been released as well, and Curt Hawkins. Zack Ryder, the guy who never gets enough credit, who got himself over and got buried for it, who was the first wrestler in WWE. I think Colt Cabana in general was like one of the first outside of WWE, Zack Ryder in WWE was like the first wrestler to have his own YouTube show, do all that social media stuff. I'll put Matt Hardy in that category. The Hardys, Justin Roberts, Shane Helms, all that collective group were dudes that embraced social media long before WWE did and got themselves over, yet never get the credit for it. Now WWE's all up in TikTok and everything else, so Zack Ryder gone. That sucks. That absolutely sucks. As I mentioned, No Way Jose. I'm trying to... Heath Slater, also gone. Leo Rush. Erick Young. Just a sad deal all around. In terms of some of these guys and girls that WWE left money on the table with, I mean, I thought they could have done a lot more with Sarah Logan. I thought they could have done much more with Rusev. I mean, really, that guy got over on his own accord with Rusev Day, with Aiden English, and now they're both gone. Zack Ryder, self-explanatory. EC3 had a ton of potential. I mean, look at what he did in TNA. Kurt Angle should have a job for life, given everything he's given to freaking company. The OC, Anderson and Gallows, were just in the main event of WrestleMania. Crazy stuff. It looks like right now the next wave of cuts is probably going to be Performance Center and NXT Talent. And I should note that at the moment I'm recording this, there are no plans for first-run NXT UK programming. So take that for what you will. Rover on Twitter notes, Lana signed a 5-year contract 6 months ago. That's not to imply she's safe, but it seems like she'll stay. Interesting. At least one person in the marriage is still getting paid, but oh my goodness, this is terrible. This is just absolutely terrible. I mean, really, this is just a terrible freaking day. Meanwhile, Vince McMahon on the economic reform committee. Oh boy, this is just really sad, man. Okay, Vince McMahon's week has included, according to SB Nation, XFL bankruptcy, advising Trump, potential bribery, a documentary, that being Dark Side of the Ring on Jimmy Snuka, about allegedly covering up a murder, releasing wrestlers during a pandemic. Terrible. Just absolutely terrible. And this is the thing too. WWE doesn't have a massive debt like UFC and Endeavor do, right? Not that I have that much sympathy for UFC and Endeavor, but WWE is still going to be profitable with or without these wrestlers. So why not keep them? They are using COVID-19 as a convenient excuse. Vince McMahon, current net worth $1.7 billion, still making a ton of money, and they still fired a bunch of people. Man, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And doesn't WWE have like $500 million cash on hand? It is utterly ridiculous. All right. Well, I hate to even freaking do this. One last wrestler check before I head on out of here. I'm sure I'll have an update for you guys later today or tomorrow, because this is just an insanely fluid situation. No, it looks like that's it for now. I hope that's it, period, but I don't know. I really don't know. This is just bad. Meanwhile, all of the Japanese pro wrestling collective in Japan met with the government and is trying to safely reopen wrestling down the road. And according to Dave Meltzer, Hiroshi Tanahashi, who's like the John Cena of Japan, is essentially arguing, hey, we don't need wrestling right away right now. We want to make sure everybody's safe. What a stark contrast to what WWE's doing. And you know what? AEW, all things considered, at least is pre-taping a lot of stuff. I'm not a fan of them running shows either. So what do you want me to say? Shout out to AEW for at least not releasing people. I know the bar is set so low for decency, but shout out to them for not releasing anybody during a pandemic. Shout out to ROH not releasing anybody during a pandemic. MLW, Bellator. This sucks, man. And you know what? At the moment, UFC hasn't let go of anybody either. So I guess I could say shout out to them, but they're trying to do some shady stuff. Oh, man. Anyway, folks, I'm going to get out of here. If you appreciate this update, I would appreciate it. If you would like this video, share this with all your friends. Please don't forget to subscribe and enable notifications for more updates. Hopefully I'll have some more positive updates, but it looks like right now this is going to be one of the darkest economic times, economic days, economic weeks in pro wrestling history. And quite frankly, it could have been prevented. All from somebody having some freaking decency. Until next time, enjoy the matches. Although for me, it's going to be pretty damn tough to do that for a while. Vince McMahon, you suck.